That was really my first experience being really close to like 20 non-Christians who didn't know each other. And so when we would like have dinner at night or like go out and do rafting or whatever, it really opened the door to just have conversations and kind of see how they view life.
Well, hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of The Boundless Show. This is Lisa Anderson here with you. And again, we are squarely in August. We're in the summer. It's super fun. We've got a great show for you. Okay, here we are for our roundtable. And because we have got this weekend, August 8th in particular, is Global Sleep Under the Stars Night. That's kind of fun and very appropriate for summer. Sorry, those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, we don't care about you right now. But that said, we are going to talk about camping and how the reason we have to talk about camping isn't because of camping in general. We have to talk about camping for the average person. Because I was talking to a friend of mine from church who was referencing a mutual friend. So my friend, she enjoys camping. And I'm like, hey, that's cool. And I like to camp as well. Well, she was talking about how she and her husband can't really camp with their friends because their friends are like, leave no trace, go into weird wildernesses and don't eat anything or whatever you just pack in, or I don't know, and encounter very scary wildlife and stuff. I don't know. And now they have like a baby and they've brought their baby into this. And I'm just like, you guys, I'm done with you. We're not even talking about that. So that's really weird. So fortunately for a normal conversation about that, we've got a few folks. We've got Gracie, one of our summer interns. Hey, Gracie.
Hi.
Good to have you here. We have Georgia, who's been on the show before a few times.
Hey.
Georgia. But is a camper. So
Yeah.
we're inviting her
Big
back.
camper.
And then Austin, who I've heard is quite the camper and makes it attainable, is married with what age is your little girl?
She's 2.5.
2.5.
And we have camped with her since she was a baby.
That's amazing. So she could have been here to contribute as well, except she has many other things going on and couldn't fit it in for us. So we had to settle for her dad. So, all right. Well, let's talk about this generally first. Tell me about your first intro to camping. Have you been doing this since you were a kid? Did you start in like as a young adult? What did it look like for you? Did you always feel like it was easy because maybe your parents just did all the things? How did that play out for you? Georgia, why don't you start us off?
Yes. Family, not big into camping because my mom's like, why would we do that? But I first camped with my brother's Boy Scouts team, group, whatever you call them, troop. Yeah. Because Girl Scouts was super lame. So I was able to join them for like 1 year. And they were like, wait, you can't be here, you're a girl. But anyway, I did camp with them and I was like, wait, this is kind of awesome. And then that was pretty much it until I moved here. So camping became a thing because I moved to Colorado Springs.
So you've reintroduced yourself to it.
Yeah,
That's
reintroduced because all I knew was my dad had a blow-up mattress and then me and my brother were on the ground and I was like, wait, camping is like really fun until we go to bed because the ground's terrible.
Okay, I hear you.
Austin, I camped with the Boy Scouts when I was growing up, and it's horrible. It was always in the middle of summer in Texas, and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever done.
Oh, that's bad.
Probably
So
what
I don't think Boy Scouts give you blow-up mattresses.
No, they don't.
No.
Yeah, it was horrible. So I didn't really like camping until I moved here about 12 years ago.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, it's mountains, and it's cooler outside, and it's not Texas.
There's no bugs.
Sorry, Texas people.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
So camping is much better in Colorado than it is in Texas. So
Okay. Well,
I'm kind of judging you for saying you like camping in Oklahoma. So
No, it was in Texas when we did this.
Oh, brutal.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in
What's
Houston.
wrong
I was
with
in
you?
Houston, so it was,
well,
Sorry.
She was with Boy Scouts. She probably had crushes on them, so there was that. You know, who knows? Okay, Gracie, how about you?
My first camping trip was probably when I was 11 or 12, and I was a part of American Heritage Girls.
Oh,
And
sure.
so,
There you go.
camped with them a few times, and then with the interns here.
Oh, okay. So your family doesn't really camp. You've just done it more with other people.
Pretty much just with other people. But my dad's starting to get into it, so hopefully we're going to start
Okay.
doing that more. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I think of camping, I rediscovered camping with friends because camping for me growing up was driving across the country to visit various relatives or do family vacations. And because we were too cheap to actually stay in hotels or motels, my dad would take this nasty old tent that he had since like the 50s, and I can still smell it in my memory.
Oh.
And we would drive and drive and drive. Inevitably, there were no campgrounds open, so we would go to some rando. It could have been a rest area. It could have been a state park. It could have been, and we were setting this tent up by the headlights of our car at like midnight. And then we're all just huddled around in this gross old tent, and no air mattresses, no egg crates, nothing. It was really, it was pretty hardcore. So then when my friends started saying, do you want to camp? I'm like, do you mean, do I want to just drive till all hours and then sleep in a nasty tent and not do anything? And they're like, no, like car camping where you just have campfires and make s'mores and do all this stuff. And I'm like, what is this of which you speak? You know, so it ended up being super fun. What are some of the places that you've camped that you thought were especially memorable?
Crested Butte.
Okay.
Butte's
Well, explain that
gorgeous.
for people who don't know where that is.
Oh, Crested Butte is like, it's like Switzerland, but in America. I think it's probably one of the most beautiful places in Colorado, because it's just
Known
stunning.
for wildflowers.
Yeah, known for
sure.
wildflowers. And last year in September, me and my roommates went, and I car camped, and that was the first time I'd ever car camped, and it changed the game. I was like, I will never sleep on the ground again. But it's just stunning, especially when you go out and then you like do a hike and then you camp that night and then you can go into town the next day. Like, I feel like camping doesn't have to be, I don't know, it doesn't have to be this like hardcore thing, because I think that is intimidating, that you feel like, okay, well, you got to camp in and you better bag your poop, and it's like, oh my goodness, like, is there not a porta potty?
Well, okay, wait a minute. So when you're saying car camping, are you sleeping in the car?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I just lay down
okay.
my lay down the seats, and I have a trundle bed. So I take my trundle bed, like thin mattress, and I lay that down, and I sleep in there, and my dog sleeps in there, and it's like so comfy and just so much better than the ground.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, because I always thought of car camping as like you don't have a pop-up or a trailer. Neither are you backpacking in, but you're just packing your stuff like your tent and whatever in a car. I don't know, but maybe I have that wrong. I'm no expert.
No, I mean, it could be,
Either way.
yeah.
Okay.
If you show up in your car, then you're car camping. It doesn't really matter where you sleep, I suppose.
Okay, good. I appreciate the flexibility there. Austin. So, how about you? Where have you memorably camped? Or the vibe?
So last year we did Silverton in between Durango and Telluride, and it was
Also Colorado.
also Colorado, and it is beautiful. That was probably top spot, but typically we'll go out to around Aspen, Twin Lakes area, so also Colorado. We're Colorado people, so
Okay. Nice.
there's a really good spot that we like up there on Independence Pass. It's
Okay.
beautiful, right next to the water.
Okay. Super nice.
Yeah.
Gracie?
Central Florida, that was like a big part of my middle school years. And then here in Colorado, I don't know exactly where, near a lake,
Okay, yeah.
but I'm not from here, so I don't know.
Okay.
And then my favorite was actually not tent camping, but I stayed in a hostel in the Smoky Mountains for 10 days by myself. And so I was like roomed with a bunch of random people. But it was right in the like Nantahala area. And so, yeah, right on the river. That was my favorite for sure.
I've also done a hostel. Some of those are so nasty, it's about the same as camping.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I
Yes.
think we can lump that in there. So I've also done, believe it or not, I have backpacked. I backpacked in Tuolumne Meadows in Yosemite, Upper Yosemite, and that was pretty hardcore. There was one group of Eagle Scouts that we saw the whole time we were gone. And that was pretty wild, but it made me realize, like, I don't think I need to do that on the regular. I really do like having restrooms if I can find them and all that kind of stuff. So,
For sure.
I think I was a one and done with backpacking also. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is nice and remote, but also horrible.
yeah, beautiful places. You can get to some beautiful places, but you are like, what is there to eat today? Because it's literally what's ever in my pack. I mean, you're just like bringing in your stuff and hoping it lasts for 10 days or whatever. But okay, well, let's talk a little bit about what you think are some of the barriers to people camping. Are there fears? Is it just a lot of work? Like, what, as you kind of got used to it, do you go, okay, I'm just going to be honest here. I love camping with people who love to camp, because I have camping friends who are so full of all the gear and the know-how and the whatever that I'm like, hey, third wheel, and I'm just going to join them. Okay. Because they've got it. They have the system, they have the list, they have the little like sweeper thing that you sweep out your tent and you just get super nice and all that kind of stuff. What does it look like for you guys to assuage any fears that people may have around camping? Because do you feel there are barriers? What prevents people from wanting to go?
I mean, that's kind of how I got into it also, was going with people that knew how to camp. Okay. That helped. Because I feel like the first time backpacking was like my first like Colorado camping experience. It went terrible. It was still better than Texas, but it was like one of those like, oh, now I know all of the things that I want to have with me. And then it was like going with some friends that knew what they were doing and had the gear and could kind of teach you how to do it. And now I feel like I'm the guy that I try to talk all the friends in like that don't camp now. Okay. It's like, let's figure out how to do this. And so now you can take whoever you want.
Sure. So that's good.
I think it's kind of expensive, low key. Like, I feel like it's one of those things where in theory you're like, oh my gosh, being in nature, that's for free. What a free activity that is. Except for then you're like, but if you don't have a camp stove, you're done. And it's like, I think that you can get all those things secondhand, or like you guys were saying, like if you go with the people that kind of have the main, the core things you need, then you can just go with them and then start to kind of slowly accumulate those things. And I think that's what I've been doing, is going with people who have all the stuff and then being like, that's unnecessary, that's necessary, and then accumulating it as I go throughout each summer. I'll just kind of buy a new thing. But I do a lot of my stuff secondhand, or I go to Sierra where it's like a lot cheaper. Sure. Yeah. And so I think
Sierra's the spot.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to buy everything brand new. I think another thing is being a woman, and I'm not trying to be like that girl, but it can be scary because sometimes I'm like, wouldn't it be awesome to like get out into the woods by myself? And I'm like, but then I'm out in the woods by myself. So I think that's also another fear, is just like, okay, how do I do this safely? Because I don't want to just go out into the woods and then they're like, and 4 days later they found my body. Like I want to do it safely while also being like, yeah, it's nice to get out into nature. So I think those two things can be a barrier, but they don't have to be, because there's a way for you to be safe and there's a way to do it cheaply and efficiently.
Yeah. I think your idea of going with people like we talked about who kind of know what they're doing, and then you observe and you're like, there's some people that camp that are too, that's way more bougie than I need to be.
Oh yeah.
And then there are some people that I'm like, nah, that's a little too rustic or whatever. I mean, my friend Jenny, I used to camp with her, and she was like the one who made these amazing like meals in foil and taught me how to do that. And you throw them on the fire and cook them. And I was like, this is amazing. But she's also extremely vigilant about all the things, like everything has certain airtight containers, everything. Like if you're going to be in a tent with her, you are going to sweep before and after when you are walking into that thing. She has a little mat outside. It's extremely high end, as far as how she does it. But Gracie, anything that you think are barriers for folks, or what it looks like to get over those fears?
I would think also purchasing gear. I feel like that is kind of a big thing. I've only really camped with people who have all this stuff too. My big hack is to tell my dad what he needs to buy and then have him use it, and then realize that maybe it's not his favorite thing, and then he gives it to me. And
That's good.
Okay. Yeah. So that's how I've accumulated a lot of my stuff and kind of like crushed that barrier myself. But I feel like for a lot of people, definitely like sourcing things is difficult, or knowing what to buy, or how to even like, where do you start? How do you pack your pack? What order do you put stuff in your backpack? Like what to bring and not to bring. I feel like it can be overwhelming. Yeah.
So you guys kind of said this a little bit based on just where you've camped that you really like, but when you think of camping, what makes you go back? Like what about it is just awesome? Like regardless of the actual specific place, but just the fact that you're camping and doing that activity. What are some of the highlights of maybe a camping trip that you would share with folks?
It's mostly for me just being out in nature where it's quiet, and we don't have to have any activity. We don't have to hike. We don't have to do anything else. We could sit there for a couple nights and do nothing and cook some good food and hang out by a fire. That's all it really takes for us to have a good time. Okay. So it's really just being outside in nature.
That's pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I think being outside, being far away, taking a moment to be like, oh wow, there's a world outside of my job and outside of the hustle and bustle of the city. But I also think being closer to hikes is beneficial to me. Like knowing that after I've done like one time I did a 13-mile hike with my roommate, and it was so nice knowing that I was like, gosh, I'm so glad we don't have to drive home right now. Like we were just able to do the hike. We had already set up the tents, and then we came back, made our food, went to bed when the sun went down. So I think that too is just nice, knowing that I can go out and not have to be like, but we gotta keep a margin of 2 hours to drive back home. Sometimes it's nice to do a hike and then not have to like be like hitting the road and that kind of thing, because I think driving in the mountains at night can be kind of tough. So it allows for longer hikes to happen if you can just stay there.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Georgia. I really like having the option to like hike as long as you want to and then not have to like rush back. When we were with the interns, we did 10 miles and we just like broke it up into like 3 or 4 different hikes throughout the day. We'd like stop for an hour and be like, okay, should we go back out? And then we would go back out again.
Okay.
But yeah, like the opportunity to, I don't really like camping for the purpose of like having time to journal or read or whatever. That's not really why I enjoy going out. Primarily I want to like do as much as I can. So whether that's kayaking or hiking or whatever.
Okay.
Just pack it
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. If I think of camping, I think of probably 2 of my favorite activities are getting up in the morning, because I'm kind of a morning person. So I would say getting up in the morning, building a fire and sitting around a fire with coffee and just chatting with whomever I'm with or whatever. In the afternoon, sleeping in a tent and taking a nap when it's kind of cool outside, but it's super toasty in the tent is also top 10 type thing. And then for me, I enjoy hiking. I also love camping near water. So for a number of reasons, but also for me, hiking, if I go camping and I say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a 12-mile hike or we're going to do something. That is very overwhelming to me and does not seem restful. So what I do is I say, I'm going to do a 4-mile hike. And then if it becomes 12, then it's good. And it's like I didn't force myself to do it. I've done that a lot. Like, especially if you're in somewhere really beautiful and you're like, this trail is awesome and we're just going to keep going and stuff. But I never make myself say, like, I have to do this or it has to be this long or I have to conquer this.
Yeah.
So that makes it kind of fun too. But so what would you say kind of in our last few minutes here as we're chatting, what are some of the relational benefits of camping? Like you guys talk about going out with family or friends or whatever. Do you have chances to connect with people maybe more so when you're all away from your everyday lives? Or are you literally like with the people who are sitting around trying to grab Wi-Fi off of something and be on their phones and stuff? Because I can't camp with those people. They irritate me.
Yeah, I think it's mainly relational. I think especially if you're going out with your friends, it's such a good opportunity to not, again, be on your phone. Like I think it's such an easy way to be like, well, we can't look at our phones, so we kind of have to talk to each other. So you're kind of stuck. But I think camping has been really special because last summer my brother came and visited, and that was like where he came to Christ. So it's like it's been like a really sweet thing to like just remember just the benefit of like when you're with people and all you have to do is like talk and admire Christ's like creation, just how amazing that can be in terms of like the Lord drawing us near to him. So yeah, I think it's always relational. Even if you're just going out by yourself, it's like you're having, a relational time with Christ, or you're like trying to come to yourself and be like, what do I need? Like trying to, reflect and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely connect with my wife, my friends way more just around the campfire when you've got literally nothing else to do. I feel like we'll stay up super late and just sitting there talking. Like if we're at home, it's either everyone's got phones out or we're playing games or
there's something to do.
Yeah,
like,
there's plenty to do, but
or whatever.
Yeah, if you're sitting by a fire and there's literally nothing to do, then you can talk for hours and get way deeper than you would just, I mean, I guess you could be deep at home, but it's just easier to when you've disconnected.
Yeah, that's fun.
For me, I see it really as like an equalizer, and I hadn't really experienced that until May when I went to Nantahala. And that was really my first experience being really close to like 20 non-Christians who didn't know each other. And so when we would like have dinner at night or like go out and do rafting or whatever, it really opened the door to just have conversations and kind of see how they view life. And like I was really shocked, like just by the differences in like worldview and everything. But it kind of broke down the barriers. Like I didn't know what jobs these people had or like where they lived or whatever. And so we were all just there in nature together. And yeah, it was really cool to just see like just the person and not any other like factor, I guess.
Yeah.
So
that is really fun. Well, for those of you listening, remember we're doing this because it is Global Sleep Under the Stars night this weekend. And so I think it's just, too, for me, it's one of those things of you feel like you've marked summer in some way when you have the chance to do this. So it's kind of like that. You don't want to get to September and be like, I just stayed inside and gamed and did housework. You know, it's just, there's that sense of regret. So it might just be, maybe it's just in your backyard. So you can start small, you know, and grab a friend or do something, or at least, you know, go around a fire pit or something like that. Start small. But thanks you guys for sharing your experiences. How fun is this? Awesome.
Thanks, Lisa.
yeah, thank you.